Alright, so you probably clicked my video because you want to learn about the basics of pen testing. So I gathered together for you just a small list of things that I figured you need to do and know in order just to get started with pen testing. And I highly suggest you go ahead and do something like, hack the box or try hack me and start up with really easy small tasks in order to get a good start. But there are some things that you kind of wish you knew before you got into pen testing, before you started. So this is really me going back saying, what did I want to know if I started over again? So I came up with this. So you just started up whatever virtual machine and you're starting to get into hacking. You want to learn something. You haven't run a command before like that. Of course you browsed the directory and wrote ls in Linux and cat something out to the screen, but you haven't really tried to run any scans or port scan or what it's called, directory, whatever, But you have this web page right here and it's like, yeah, you can look at this and it's very good. But how to go from here, what to do about it. This is a server, you have the IP address, so you can go ahead and copy paste this. You can copy paste it, go to a terminal, you can open up a new tab, and then you can write ping, and I need to remove the HTTP in front of this, and you can ping it, but it doesn't really do anything for you. So I want to show you, just to get started, how to do the very first scan you're going to do. Is called the Nmap scan. Now the Nmap is a small tool that stands for network mapper, and basically you just write Nmap and then you put in IP address. That's going to start the Nmap and going to scan for the 1,000 most commonly used ports. Those are very different, it's not the 1 to 1,000, it's like 2280, 9,500, different kind of things. Just gonna press enter and run it. That's gonna go pretty fast, and you're gonna explore all these kind of different ports here which are open. And now starts the next step. You determined which ports are open on the server. Now, if you don't know what a port is, I can just briefly tell you, it's also, so you can also call it a service. So a port number is usually directed to a service, specific service. Like port 80 is always HTTP, which basically means the protocol operating on that port number would be a hypertext transfer protocol, or more commonly known as a web server, or the website of whatever server company you are trying to visit through the internet browser. So basically you see these 6 ports now, and now you can begin sort of looking at what is this, what is that, what is going on, and what is this 8080 HTTP proxy and stuff like that. So this is the very first step I would like you to think about. And of course from this you can get further. You actually got more information than just the actual bare undergoing maintenance website. It could be any new company starting out or just refreshing a website undergoing maintenance, but they forgot they can do :8080, and then you actually access their Tomcat server, which is widely just exposed to the internet. And now you can try and upload stuff on the Tomcat server here and look for other exploits and so on and so on. Now I want to stress the fact that when you do the Nmap scan, this can be a highly new advanced area for you to go and venture forth in, because just looking for exploits on different kind of services like this it's going to take a long time for you to find. So basically this is the Nmap scan, and this is the shortest version I can do it just to get started. The second thing I would really like to tell you about this is to note down the versions of things you're finding. So if you're finding something here like a Tomcat server version 907, go ahead and take a note of it. Note everything in a certain way in a document. So take a document here and you put in the IP address here. Oh, I'm gonna press the right button. The IP address, and you put in like this is a version, and you so that's a Apache Tomcat, and this is what you found. So when you're gonna do some vulnerability hunting, you vulnerability hunt for software groups and versions. Basically, that's what you do. It is software you want to try and break in some way. So this is what you're gonna do. So please note it. Now the third thing I would like to talk about is when you have this kind of web page like this, and you figure, but did they do some hidden part here, like hidden something? Do they have a specific folder I can access? Of course, we tried that before, like with WordPress wp-admin, but some people rename those kind of folders just to make it a bit more obscure to find it. So basically what you can do is you can run a scan called GoBuster scan here. I prepared it for you. So GoBuster is a tool that can make a lot of requests. You can do other things than just make requests to folders and files on a web page. But in this particular case, keeping it simple, it's just GoBuster scanning for directories on the host, on this particular host, which is the IP address. Remember the HTTP in front. If you want to scan per port, you can just add on the colon after the last part here and do like colon 880, and then it's going to scan for different kind of folders. And what it will do is just in front of here, it's going to put different kind of things here, different folder names, and just test. Basically, you can do that with your hand if you wish to do that. Just took a lot of time. So we're going to use a dictionary here, and the dictionary is called directory list 2.3 medium.txt, and it's commonly shared in Linux Kali distributions. On the path, user share word list dbuster, and then basically there is. You can also use seclist or other kind of word list. Go ahead and just go and search for word list on the internet, and you're gonna find something on GitHub popping up like that for you that you can use. Just running this command right here will take quite some time. However, it's gonna find something called a development folder, and that's quite interesting because very normal folder to have. And just add on development, and now we see a development folder. That might be something that they forgot to delete or something that really happens in reality. People do actually do these kind of things in reality. So looking for folders, looking for stuff can bring you one step closer. And while you find this, you can also go ahead and, as I explained just before, and just take on the colon 8080 in the end, just like that, boom, boom. And then run it one more time, and now it's going to find stuff like docs and stuff like that, and different examples. And you can see the status codes here, and that is redirected if I'm not mistaken. So you can go here and say colon 8080 docs. You will find a doc folder and examples. Was it servlets example, web server example, and stuff like that. So basically, that is the way you're going to find the hidden directories on web pages. Now, when you then are on a web page, and we have to do something like this. Like this. Doesn't really matter what web page it is. Of course, now this is an Apache Tomcat standard web page, but I really want you to learn the whole idea of pressing F12. Do it, okay? Zoom in on it if you need to do that, and then basically, start up with the storage. Check out the cookies, the index, the session managers. Check what's there. Update it if it doesn't. Make sure that it's not something disappeared. The memory tab is less important. Next one I would check is network. Always redo it one time. Check what's going on there. How does the get and the HTTP request and response headers look like? Check that out. Also, check out the inspector here if there's a hidden HTML generated stuff, JS generated stuff. Also press Ctrl U or right click and say View Page Source, which is the same thing, and check out the source code. Sometimes you can find commented out path that's not, some stuff like an uploads folder or something like that. And if you find uploads folders, definitely you want to try and visit that and just try and upload your file if there's such a possibility. Another thing that I would really like you to try is whenever you see that there is some sort of FTP server online, in this particular case there is not a FTP server, you should always try and connect to it anonymously. So you basically just go ahead and type FTP, and then you take the IP address of a server just like that. Now I don't have one at the moment, and then it's gonna ask you for username and password, and you just go ahead and put in the anonymous for username, and you just press enter for password. Sometimes it requires you to type anonymous one more time. It's a little unusual, but it could happen. And see if you get access to the FTP server. Now, another thing I would really like you to do is whenever you have the possibility of doing SSH access, is you maybe found some use or something, or it's a part of the puzzle for the hacking room you're doing. go ahead and just type in SSH username and then @ the IP address, and it's gonna ask you if you wanna, you know, take down the SSH certificate and stuff like that. I already did that on this machine at some point, so I already have it for this particular server. But you just go in and type the password. If you have it, you know, then you're gonna have access to the server, and then boom, you're in. So that is really one thing you should note yourself: to SSH and type the username, @ and the IP address. Okay, so some things I would like you to think about is, and this is for the future, of course, you really need to understand hashes. There are different kind of hashes you can, you know, find on these hacking challenges. There's a program called hash identifier you can call, and then you can paste in a hash. So let's go ahead and find some hash we can just try out. You know, I'm gonna take something from CrackStation right here. This is a hash. Just take it and go back, put it in, and it's gonna tell you that the most likely possible hash is an MD5. Now I know this is an MD5 hash, so it doesn't really do much. In this particular case, I would definitely say take the top one, but you should really be good at recognizing different kind of hashes. Also, think about how you can recognize base 64, right? So base 64 is an encoding, not encryption, and it's just used to make data more safe for special characters, to save in databases or, you know, show on web pages, because some special characters is not shown easily on a web page, especially if you're in another country and you see some Chinese characters or Danish characters from the alphabet, for example. It's gonna look like crazy, you know, stuff going on the screen. So really, that's the second thing, and the second last thing I wanted to say, and the very last thing I think you should really note down on a book. On a note, I mean, is to start reading about Hydra. I'm not going to say much about it. Basically, Hydra is, let me just clear screen. Hydra is a hacking tool that is created by guys called Van Hauser and David. It is basically used for brute forcing, and that's another thing you're going to use a lot when you go do these hacking challenges. You're going to brute force FTP servers, you're going to brute force SSH servers, you're going to brute force logins for web pages and so on. So the many things you're going to do. I just want to say that this is the things that I really feel I would have liked to know when I started my hacking adventures on. I don't exactly remember where it was, but it's a long time ago, back in 2014. So I think it was some web page called Try Hack This or .nl in Holland or something like that. It was Dutch, you know. So anyways, I hope you really liked this video. It was the key points that I really wanted to show you. I hope you noted it down. This is what I would have liked to know before I started my hacking adventure. See you out there. Have a real nice day.